it's really cliche, but every show is not. Oh, I'm joking. Yeah, absolutely. Every show
Okay.
is like absolutely amazing. Like my most favorite moment in absolute life is when I'm upstage playing with the band.
Let's warm up a little bit with the
Okay.
conversation. Tell me, I'm sorry, I know my format is totally different because I just started talking nonsense, and then we probably get to talk about what is
It's
important.
absolutely perfect since that's
Yeah,
how it's the
cool.
podcasts are done, but I feel it's great. It works really good.
Okay, cool. Tell me what, are you binging any series?
Everyone, what?
Binging series like Netflix or anything serious?
Uh, Actually, no, I actually don't have much time to watch series, but it's really nice. Like I used to like so much. I don't know if you have heard it about Castlevania,
Yeah.
the vampire series and all that. Actually, the universe is like really dark and baroque, and the music is beautiful. So
Yeah.
that series are I used to watch it as a kid and play the game back then. But they're really nice. Even I'd say like they kind of influence the universal theme of the band more or less in the
Mhm.
early stage. Nowadays, not really, but on its early stages and all that.
Very cool. Okay, well, I can tell you, I love Beijing series a lot,
Oh,
and I
really?
mean,
Which ones
I, oh,
do you like?
and I have a bunch. Um, I checked those are like something that I think is something I would like to do, for example, as an actor, or
Because you're an actress, right? I saw you're an actress and you're like
so.
really moving
Yeah,
forward with it.
I actually have the AMC Stops is a program or like a subscription that you have here to the AMC theater. So you get to see up to 4 movies a week, and it's just like $23 per
It's
person.
worth it. It's worth it.
And I
It's
do,
really,
and I put that on my taxes because I'm an actor, so that's part of my career.
yeah.
Hmm.
So that helps. I
I
think
get
that
to watch
helps.
a lot of movies. And series, I love to watch a lot of series on Netflix.
Do you like
Um,
more like series or like movies type or what's like your favorite?
mm, I will say I love drama, but also love action just for the stunts. And I will not do a stunt. For me, running will be a
They're
stunt.
really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of choreography, and it's really well
I
done.
mean, like the paid actors of stunts are like really, I don't know, like, but the actual big Hollywood films, like the like Tom Cruise stuntmans and all that, like they are like getting paid. Like they only appear in the crash scenes and the explosions and all of that, but they like make like I don't know, like fair amount of money. But in these big big movies, I don't know if the small ones like more niche ones they actually make it's like a real career for someone that's a student. Like I want to make it to like a small cinema with my stunts. Or they because they just appear like 3 or 4 seconds. Like I don't know, like really in really small place, small
Yeah.
parts every moment.
Most of them, for example, you just mentioned Tom Cruise. He does his own stunts. He
Ah,
has
really?
it. He does it.
I think once he was hurt, he broke his leg or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't remember.
I love that.
But he was like,
I'm old school. Speaking of
yeah,
old school, I consider myself old school also with the music that I listen to. I'm really uh, a lot
same as well.
into
Same.
death metal right now, and I probably listen to the same 3, 4 bands all the time. So that's why I did this podcast. I'm like, I want to get to know more artists and to get to know them like nationwide and why not worldwide, you know?
It's
So
really cool since we share our same country, like we're from the same country.
yeah.
I don't know if you um like listen to Colombian metal being in the US, since the US has like a more powerful industry. So yeah, I don't know if that's the case.
I don't know. I can tell everything is so different, and um, I grew up like thinking I probably not like this kind of music, but because my environment was totally different when I was younger, and I just took the decision. And probably my influence, I believe, my biggest influence in music was my brother.
Oh,
He's,
like
he's the
he
musician.
introduced you into this type of music, I believe.
Yeah, we have a great relationship. He's my hero. So he was
Yeah.
a lot into death metal and probably metalcore. He's very well
Oh,
versed into that. I'm not very much.
he's like an older brother or what, a younger brother? Or
He's an older brother, and he used to
usually the
have a
older
project.
brothers like introduce you into this stuff. In my case, no, I've been the youngest, and my family doesn't listen to metal.
How many brothers or sisters do you have?
I just have one sister, and she lives in France nowadays. Um, she actually just married a year ago. But yeah, she doesn't listen to any of this stuff. My parents neither, or my family. I just like I don't know. I fell into this. Like, but you were telling about your brother, how
Oh
he
yeah.
influenced you.
Um, we started basically at the same time into metal. I was like probably 11 and he was like
Really
12,
young.
13. We were young. And we had a friend and he was satanic. And we went to
Oh,
hang out with this friend and he showed us the classics, the bangers, Pantera, all that. And it
Slayer,
was like
Metallica, Megadeth.
all prohibited and all like all this
All
curious.
of this was back in Colombia, in
Yeah,
Bogota.
yeah. It was in
Oh,
Bogota. Yeah, I grew up in Bogota with the scene of the ska and all that is over right now, and but I didn't get to know the scene after I left. I left in 2012 from Colombia. I left, so I
oh, like
disconnected, and
many years ago. Like it has changed a lot. Like I haven't been like all my life, but I've seen how like in the few years I've been in the scene, like I've seen like how these have changed. Like I used to prefer the way it was before, but I don't know, things always change.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, continue with your story.
Yeah. Oh no, no, no! It's your podcast, man.
No, I
I got
wanted to listen.
you.
How do you like when like connected with this music and all that?
Yeah, no, basically I went more into Gothic and dark and black metal. I went more into
One of my favorites,
the Norway
Norwegian. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, all that. I got super like into the dark side and my brother went to the other side, more metalcore, and he actually made a project and it was really good. It was called Murder and it's not
Mordor,
there
like
anymore.
the Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
Murder.
they actually wow. But
Yeah.
it's not like if you say to me this name, I imagine some black metal stuff, not like metalcore stuff.
What he does? Kinda.
Does it still exist? Like yeah, you told me about like I believe it was like almost finished already. Like I don't remember.
The project?
Yeah,
Oh, I think it was over. Yeah, unfortunately, it was over. But it has great music on Spotify. You want to take a look at my
yeah,
project.
absolutely. I will absolutely check it out. Like dance back then on around that age. I do remember that age growing up.
I've been
Like
listening to
Automatica,
music, by the
yeah.
way.
I like. And it's weird because you are telling me that your brother, he was older, he was more into this metalcore stuff, and you were into more black metal. It's like it's weird because like kind of should be like you, like your brother should be like more old school, other than, but it's really good. Like I actually fell in love a lot with black metal. Not in my early stage, I would say. Like when I was like really young, like in into music, I used to play drums. I started playing with many thrash metal bands because around the time, like thrash metal was the big thing here in Colombia. It was like a huge thrash metal scene, and I started playing with bands from friends I knew from other projects and all that. I started actually playing drums, and I eventually like uh, like had to listen a lot to thrash and death metal in my early stage. But later on, I was like was pursuing like the melody. Like for me, the melody is absolutely essential in music. So I found this approach more like in the European style metal, like the European metal overall, like black metal. Like there's this type of melodic metal from, even though like Swedish death metal, Norwegian black metal, you'd say like bands. I don't know if you know, there are many old school, not really well known bands, but in that era, that melodic signature sound was really nice with bands like such as Windir. I don't know if you have heard it. The
Winter?
band Windir. It's like old Norwegian language,
Good.
and they're from some town called Sogna in Norway. It's
Okay.
absolutely beautiful. It's not like there's different types of black metal, like the most mainstream, like we know nowadays, or like Mayhem, Dark Throne, this type of black metal. But around like now in the cities, there were like these black metal bands like making really good music. Like this Malayophony,
I
Bindir.
love that band.
I know this. I think it's I don't know, like Dissection. It's mainstream, but nowadays it's mainstream. But that sound from Sweden, they even got like the Gothenburg sound in the metal, like these bands like At the Gate and all that. Like all these European bands, like shared. I've seen like they shared like all this melodic approach. So I always was more like into it rather than the American side of metal, which is, I don't know, like let's say thrash metal, metalcore, and all that. But even the metalcore we were talking about was influenced by these European metal bands, like from the early 90s, I believe. And then it came like 20 years later to the US, and there was a big hype with the metalcore scene and all of that. These bands with great production back then, because the switch of the like from the analog to the modern production was really interesting, and like made like really interesting results for nowadays music, for like it's for the, I would say, like for the standard of modern metal production, which is really nice. Uh, I like both worlds, like the old school black metal, melodic black metal stuff, and the ultra modern, super tight performances, and like you listen to nowadays album.
Right? Oh, yeah, I had this open here. That's funny. Let me close this here. I might probably have to cut this piece.
Okay,
We were talking
no
about
worries.
Unbreathable Atmosphere, that song that I like from the first production that you guys had before COVID.
That's an old one, really old one.
I like that one. It really caught my attention, and I was checking like the evolution that you guys had from that album to the 2025 album. And the favorite one that I had, and that I actually took a screenshot of the lyrics that I like very much, and the orchestration, and so great that you guys had. By the way, is Legio Eterna. I really like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like our top song
I
from.
had a blast listening to that. I was blasting it in the plane. in airplane mode and was blasting the
Nice.
music, and I really enjoyed. Tell me a little bit of your story. What's the story, and how you start this ambitious project?
About the band or my story or like both? Like
Yeah, you
what's
can mix
what
it
I
up because you were the one who started all, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the founder and like things evolve naturally as in everything. But yeah, I actually founded Brainblast back in 2015. I was like a kid back then. I was like 17, 18, I don't think, like more or less. Uh, as I mentioned, I was like just playing, like just having fun with friends. Like we just wanted to play metal, like no big deal. Uh, we started like playing covers and like really uh, yeah, just having fun. Was really young people. But it wasn't like that serious. Around the time I only played drums. I was just a drummer, so uh, life was fun just back then. But then like I started like getting a lot into like my future and my career and everything. This was before I was studying music. I was actually on school. Like I think I graduated from school on 2015. Yeah, and like around the time I was like, hey, I wanna make this like for real, like making something ambitious. Um, like I don't know where to start, but I just wanted to make like a band, like a real band, like the bands I admired at the moment. So, but my friends were there just like fun, just for fun, like nothing serious. Eventually, they just wanted to play covers and all of that, but like it just passed months by and members like they they went off the band and I was left alone with the band. And back then I was drummer. I recruited some other musicians and started playing. Around that time, like a friend of mine, like not really close friend, just a friend, I know a guy I knew. He was like so insistent to me, like, hey, I have this guitar. I know you always wanted to play guitar, but you don't have guitar. Like I can sell you my guitar. Like it's really cheap. So I was like, you can believe how cheap he sold me that guitar. Like just put a price. Like in dollars is stupidly cheap, but he was forcing me like, hey, please buy my guitar. I just need to buy other things. Please buy a guitar. He insisted to me and he sold me my first guitar, which is the right one, this one. Yeah, no, no, it's the other one, the other one.
Oh,
That's my first guitar, and he sold me that guitar like really like trying to force me to, and I was like, I eventually like want to play to learn to play guitar, but I at the time I was just a drummer, so he sold me this guitar for 120 Colombian pesos, like that's stupidly cheap,
what a
in
deal!
dollars. It's like it's a cheap guitar. It's a cheap, but I actually play to this day. Like I love that guitar is really special for that. In dollars is like what like I don't know like $30 more or less like 30
Probably.
30 bucks like that cheap, absolutely cheap, like stupidly cheap. So I bought that guitar. I didn't have amp, so I just was with the guitar, and it's like the things that happen in life like just magically like the day of my birthday around that that year I was like rehearsing with my band in in some places of where you go with your band and you rehearse, and it was this guy that was going to travel to another city or I don't know, but he was like really insistent like I need to sell my amp because I'm moving from Bogota and I am going in a bike so I can go with my amp. I just already packed my stuff. I need to leave the city. I'm with this amp, and he went to this rehearsal room, and he was offering the amp to any band that came to rehearse the day. And actually, that was my birthday, and he was like, "Hey guys, do you want an amp? I'm selling this amp because I need to go from Bogota, like to leave the city like right now. So I came here with musicians like gathered. So he also sold me that amp, my first amp, like really cheap. I magically that same year I had the amp and the guitar, so I bought him the amp. I don't remember how much it was worth, but it was really stupidly cheap. So he like he take the amp, like give me I don't know the bucks, the like I don't know, I don't remember. It was a Marshall amp. I actually have it right here. I can show you because it's
Those are
great.
good brands.
Yeah, it was like a really small Marshall amp, like 25 watts. And he sold me and I had the money. I don't know. I had the money. I like around the time I didn't have the money, but I had the money back then. I don't remember what. So I bought that amp and I brought it home in my birthday and I started playing guitar. Actually, around my birthday, I started playing guitar, and that was around like 2016. Like I know it's like very detailed story, but this part is like really like I don't know uh I remember back then I was like, hey, this like yeah real like life. It's crazy how arranges things for you, right? Like it's crazy. So yeah, I started playing guitar. I was still playing with bands and everything, but I had the guitar and I started to play. I remember the first songs I started to play were death songs from like Chuck Schuldiner, the band. I
You
started
know
playing
that,
Crystal
yeah.
Mountain, Symbolic, Pull the
Mm.
Plug, uh, all the death bangers, and I was really into death around the time.
I'm still into that
So yeah, that is like
forever.
top notch classical
Yes,
genre. Like absolutely
my
amazing.
favorite band every time.
They actually they don't have a bad album. Like all the
They
records
don't.
are like amazing. Even the Scream Bloody Gore era is beautiful. I actually enjoy most like my favorite album to be Human and Symbolic. They're my like what's your favorite one?
Probably Human, I like it a lot. Probably
Human is
Sense of Perseverance.
the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Human so much because it's so technical. Like
Mhm.
the leap they took from spiritual healing to human, it was like amazing.
Yeah.
Yep, an absolute perfect evolution. So yeah, I actually learned guitar playing these songs, and with that influence from Chuck Schuldiner, um, but like I was really into that around the era. Uh, I was left alone in the band. I was the only member left like in my band in Brainblast. So I was like, hey, I won't play drums anymore. Like I will start to play guitar, and the thing started to get like more serious because I was just like getting into college. So I was I I was going to study music
Okay.
here,
Nice.
and my emphasis was my approach was musical composition, but in classical composition. Like I don't know the term in English. Yeah, but I would say like it's classical composition. So I started taking it more like serious since when you go to a music college, they ask you to like have already an instrument, like but mostly like you have to know piano. If you're a composer, you have to know how to play piano and how to write music in piano, because all the orchestral markups and everything, you must have to do it on piano. Like you can like go with an electric guitar and hey, this is my riff. I wrote no. They ask you for yeah for piano. So I was like when I was a kid, I actually played some piano. I wasn't like a good pianist, but I just had a small keyboard in the house, and I used it to play melodies in Christmas and everything. Um, so around the time I entered college, I started to learn music like more in a technical way, or the musical theory and all that. The years passed by, and my approach, I never actually took guitar lessons. Never took guitar lessons. I always like my approach was in the more with the musical theory stuff, and everything I knew, I just applied to the guitar. So like I like for to this day, I never ever learned to make the chords like the ones they show you on YouTube. Like I have to play this song and make these chord positions and all. I've never learned it. I just learned like, hey, how to make a chord, like the structure of a chord, and I just made it myself, like knowing the instrument. So that was like interesting around about that. Um, I I studied I studied as well, like at the same time I studied orchestration around the pandemic era. I was like really a lot into the study of orchestration and orchestral music, and like trying to master this skill, because it actually takes you a lot of time to evolve this, like not just the knowledge of orchestration, but to apply it to your writing, like to like when you write a piece, because you can write a piece only with a keyboard and a melodic, like and a melodic line above, like your vocals and everything. But if you have that idea and try to apply or take it to an orchestral level, it like it like expands like the universe a lot in terms of like timbrical universe, the the density. Like there are many like layers of knowledge within the discipline. So it actually takes years. So I was like really drawn into into all of these, like since I would say like 2019 to
Okay.
2021 more or less. Um, but yeah, it skipped some years. So back into the history of the band. Around like 2016, when I learned to play guitar, I actually started writing. Like writing, I never wrote music actually, but I noticed that the like it it was like really fluid to me. Like I I started like writing songs, like recording myself with my phone or whatever. Um, and back then I used a lot this program. I don't know if you're familiarized with Guitar Pro.
Yeah.
Program, yeah, I didn't knew anything about music back then. But I started like messing with the problem with the program and all, and I started writing music, and I noticed like, hey, this like I really like how I write. Like not always was like that, but I was like, this is like easy for me. Like I feel good making this. Like I feel like I didn't like everything I made, but I feel like I could make something like that's good. Yeah, so I managed to start to know how to transcribe in music sheet, and the program like helped a lot. And at the time I was starting with the music theory, and everything like evolved like in years. But I actually that first record you listened to, the Primal Input,
Yeah.
which came out like in 2019. I actually started like writing like in 2016. So the Unbreathable Atmosphere actually was a song from 2016.
No
That
way.
song,
Yeah, I
yes.
was checking the lyrics and it took my attention. It really took my attention. So, tell
10,
me a
10
little
years
bit
old,
of
that
that.
song.
Yeah, tell me a little bit of how you got inspired to write all these lyrics.
The lyrics from the Primal Impulse was like the first ever approach
Oh,
ever like making lyrics. I didn't write them all like absolutely like myself. Back then we had a vocalist, so we took the chance to discuss about the lyrical concept and everything that aligns with the band. But basically, this song, I don't know. I would like to ask you first, what do you infer from the song, like from the lyrics that have you
What?
heard already?
Say it again, one more time.
Like, what do you infer about the songs? The this the actual the song you mentioned. Like, what do
Mhm.
you think? Because I can explain, but also is the approach
Okay,
of the
you want to
listener.
know my thoughts
Yeah,
about
like
that?
what, like I think like this song, like maybe talks about this, or maybe I don't know.
I I think it's now that you said that you wrote the songs when you started playing guitar and all that, is like very like I would say you have influence from any band in specific, because I feel like it's not like the typical writing. It's more like let's conquer and all that
But the lyrics
atmosphere.
is different. Yeah, yeah. You're talking about the album lyrics, which are I like absolutely like had the full chance to write them all.
Yeah.
But in the early stage, like the first EP, like the Primal Impulse,
Yep.
it was like a way more different approach regarding that. But particularly the song you were talking about, Unbreathable Atmosphere, is actually inspired in modern era, actually, like in the decay of like humanity in modern era, like in postmodernism,
Yeah.
and how it's impacted like art and
Mhm.
society and civilization. So actually, it talks about the four eras of like humanity. Uh, in this in I don't remember. It's like this Indian concept from the India, where they spiritually like divided the stages of like the cycle of humanity. There's like this good stage where this brightness of civilization of that. Then that nice stage brought us to like being lazy or too comfortable. So the good times go like send us to a more dark time.
Got it.
So basically, that song talks about the dark time that humanity is right now because of the comfort of past eras,
Mhm.
like tradition and all of that. But that's like a huge discussion. But yeah, that song actually talks about like how polluted is the like nowadays civilization.
Mhm.
So like in the artistical sense and in everything. And you can find the lyrics like all the references to the Kali Yuga, whereas the Kali Yuga is like the dark era time of humanity, where it's absolute decay
Yeah.
or everything. So yeah, that song basically talks about it.
Very good.
But that song is like really, really, really old, like really like I was more like young.
So you guys are oh, you were telling me that you guys work on your vinyl, and you've been working this weekend. I mean this week in your vinyl. Let's talk a little bit about that.
This past week, yeah, we've been like actually this started like 6 months ago. The conversations with Vertical Records. So we're happy finally we are making the announcements after so much months. But this is something like it's like a gift, like the album, something that the album has achieved. Like if you're listening to this, we're talking about like our latest album, which is Colossus Suprema, which is our debut album from 2025. Um, this was a collaboration we made with Cortical Records from Pennsylvania with Jake. Big shout out to Jake. Thank you so much for like actually believing in the project and everything. One day like we talked via email, and he was like, "Hey, I'm like fascinated with your album. uh, we want to make like a pressing of the vinyl, and that's actually like it's not that much, but it's like a real like a first like dream come true to have your first album coming in this format, because this format actually is like really expensive. Like even like in Colombia, it's really expensive. So these guys made like an amazing job, and a perfect like uh, I would say like a really outstanding job with the pricing of the vinyls. And we finally announced them like just like a week ago,
Yeah.
and they will be up on sale. If you already listened to this like August, they will be up on sale on August 14th for the US and mainly. So yeah, we are really happy, for that. If you check our media page or follow us, you can check like the variants. I don't know if you saw them all, but they're beautiful. Like they have like different layers,
Yeah.
and we made like 4 variants. Like actually three. Those 3 variants are for the public, and there's one variant like is for the band only.
Okay.
They're like
Maybe
only 5.
see pictures as we talk. So
Yeah,
they, yeah.
like in my cell phone. Like let me show you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see those here, but hang on.
yeah.
They're beautiful. They're like all in this style of the like color of the artwork and the universe. It's really good. Like they actually make it like really really good job.
Got it. Tell
Very
me.
cool. Like here is the Colossus, but I don't know if you can
Oh,
actually
yes, I do have it in here.
Colossus variant. Here's the here's the
Of course, my favorite has to be the one who
Relentless.
has 5.
The only 5 that's the Suprema variant.
Yeah, I only have 5. Of course, it has to be my
Super
favorite.
limited to the band. Really nice. If you want, guys, you are listening to this, like check it out.
Yeah.
Mostly there will be up on sale for the US. If you want to order that, it's available like worldwide, but shipping costs are like really expensive. So you might think before ordering it that's
And
worth it.
I like the artwork. It's very
The
nice
artwork is
artwork. And
amazing.
tell
Actually, the
me
artwork
about the
what
artist.
the artwork was made by this amazing artist from France. His name is Pierre. I don't know. Sorry,
Yep.
Pierre, if you heard. Um, he's an amazing artist. He actually have designed for many other bands, like really like nice, well-known bands, not too many. But like Scar Symmetry, Kronos. I know he has also made uh like posters for movies and all that. Amazing artist, and he actually captured the essence of what we wanted to make with the album. Actually, always people regarding the art, like always people like had a misconception idea of what the artwork represents. Like I've heard like a million times like it's Zeus in the artwork, but it isn't Zeus. It's like this Greek god Zeus. No, it like just represents like the supreme entity of all, like God, like you feel like
Yeah.
that actually is the actual representation of the like how it was meant, like how it was thought. But yeah, really nice. And it's crazy that this artwork is from 2022. We finally unveiled in 2025, but the artwork was like already like yeah, it was ready like in 2022. So we really approached really fast to the album art before anything. And regarding that, like the album was already finished in 2022. It's crazy, but it came in 2025 because it was insanely a lot of work in the production. Absolutely, like the most insane work in production. It took a lot because it was the first time like trying to learn everything, like absolutely everything, like to take it to that level of production. Actually, the album was meant to be recorded um, on 2022, but it was recorded like 3 times. because the other like past 2 times didn't work out like the way we expected. So it
Okay.
was really, really difficult to achieve like that modern sound is it's it's a lot of work, a lot of work. But actually, I think it was absolutely worth it, and I'm really happy how it came up, like everything. So yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, you guys are about to play in a festival. I see something on your socials. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
yeah. We're August is pretty busy for us, so fortunately. So we're playing. Our next show is Metal Festival. I don't know if you know this place near Bogota, Usme.
I think I heard about that festival. There's a bunch of festivals I haven't had the chance to check, and there's probably one of those like over here. Like,
It's really nice. It's really nice.
yeah,
Really nice.
okay, cool.
I think it's one of the biggest from Bogota in like in distrital areas. Like in this festival is from since like I believe it's since 1998.
Mm.
I'm not sure, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would like if you are a metalhead and if you are from Bogota, you absolutely know this festival. This festival isn't as big as the Roco Party now, not way near, but it's kind of near. It's like for uh not near, but it's like fairly like crowded. Like there are a couple maybe thousands of people that go to the. It's an open air, so it's night. Yeah, but it's we're gonna play there like in August 16, like like from this weekend, 2 weeks more. So we are playing there. It's the first time we are ever playing on that festival, so it's really nice. I always wanted to play there. Finally, like we made it to the festival this year, so we're really happy with that. And we have other two events on August. Once is that one, and the other ones are a showcase in Chia, Cundinamarca,
Mm.
and sitting nearby, really nearby here. And the other one is with this amazing guitar player. I don't know if you have heard it. It's Felix Martin. He actually lives in LA. He has a South American tour coming, so he included us on his date in Bogota. So we're really happy. So that's how August will be for us. So yeah, that's the upcoming show we have
Speaking about shows, what is your most memorable show?
for with the band with my band. Yeah,
Yeah, as per se, like by yourself with a band.
I think like it's really cliche, but every show is not. Oh, I'm joking. Yeah, absolutely. Every show
Okay.
is like absolutely amazing. Like my most favorite moment in absolute life is when I'm upstage playing with the band. It's my like there's no more perfect moment than that. That's my most happy moment on earth is when I'm playing with the band. So every show is like really special. But regarding that, there have been like the band hasn't like uh played as much as I want so far because back on these years the album took a lot. So we like the band was absolutely focused on the album rather than pursuing like local shows or anything. That said, we haven't played that much as we want that right now, but we're gonna change it this year. But I would say the show with Beyond Creation. I don't know if you know these guys from Canada. The tech that band, absolutely amazing, like huge reference in the genre. It was maybe that show, or I would say that show, or the one with Suicide Silence, the
Good.
most memorable, I would say. Um, Regarding, but nothing special like happened. Actually, in the Beyond Creation show, the ending was not so nice because the tour manager, like, I don't know if it was the tour manager of the guys for the tour or anything, but they could cut our set. Like we was still like we had 2 songs remaining, and they like shut down our show. Like,
No
they
way.
just and like people were like, hey, like people were like complaining, and they didn't knew what was happening, and we were like, hey, my third
Mhm.
doesn't sound, and that was the that was not so nice,
Yeah.
actually, if you ask me. But that show was like the first part of the show was really nice. It was beautiful because that was the time where we released the actually that on that play we released our first EP, like the Primal Impulse was released on that day. Not because it came April 1st, but actually that date was, I believe, is 12th 12th of April. I believe it was the 12th of April. So yeah, that like those have been like the shows we have like enjoyed the most so far. But as I told you, like that's something like we are working right now because we haven't played as much as we really want. And right now we are absolutely on this stage. Like we have started working with an agency from the US, which is Extreme Management Group
Okay.
this year. So we
Mhm.
are already like working on that for actually I would say like within this and next year because it takes months of logistics.
Mhm.
We are going to play it out of the country. We have already played on okay. It's not the question you ask is like what's the best show, but I will like rephrase the question
Memorable, I
like
say.
fun, like there have been like funny moments like that has happened to us. Like now this is funny, but back then it wasn't funny. We played in Ecuador also. We played like some shows in Ecuador,
Okay.
and there was this date that was absolutely catastrophe. Like it was really like you always like look every artist on the media and they're like, oh, we made a show, we like it's full house, like 2,000 people came to see it and everything. There was this one show, and the first show we made in Ecuador was really nice. It was like it was fairly with a fair amount of people. It was really nice. It was a festival, so it was really nice. But this second date we made it on the next day, it was horrible. Like one of
What?
the worst dates of all because the logistics, everything, like everything that could possibly go wrong went
How
wrong.
come?
Absolutely, like it was like since we were playing on this festival, I had the idea of like, hey, it would be cool like having another show, like we go to Ecuador, like just arranging like another date, yeah, to have like more dates. So I had this amazing idea of arranging a show for the band, like just 1 week before we went to Ecuador,
Mhm.
just like 1 week, without knowing logistics, without knowing time frames, without knowing the bands, anything. So you will listen to this and you will say like, hey, there are multiple things that could go wrong, actually. So logistics were absolutely horrible. It's something like a band that happens to a band in our stage. You just want to play and go out and just have these experiences, but it was a huge experience to learn from this. So we made this second date on Quito. No, it was not in Quito. Actually, it was on the outside part of the city. So that was another logistic factor that really affected the date. So crazy. We were meant to play with other four bands the day. I don't remember. Uh, but they were like really annoyed because it was like the place where like was really far away from the city,
Yeah.
like not in this like on the outside part of the city.
Yeah.
So bands were like, this is not so common, why did you guys like make this? um the long story short, like
Yeah.
like almost nobody show up because it was like almost like only the bands, and we our hotel was like at the other side of the city,
Mm.
absolute like at the absolute other side of the city.
Okay.
So I remember we went back to the hotel and hey, we have to go to the show. We take our stuff, our like our instruments and everything, and we were going in a van to the venue, to the bar and everything. And we were on like on a yeah, in a road, in a highway,
Uh-huh.
and out of nowhere like it stopped, like the van stopped, uh like it wasn't fuel, like the car actually like stopped, like
Oh no.
we didn't know, like, and we were in the middle of nowhere, like we were already late. We
Oh,
thought it was like, oh, it was like nearby or something. We were already late. um the van, like, I don't know what happened, like it just stopped, and we were like in the middle of a long highway, like you couldn't see like something nearby, like
wow.
it's a long highway. So, and we were already late, like we have to be like in there like in 15 minutes, and we were like an hour from that place. And also we were like carrying our gear, like our instruments and everything, like everything.
Mm.
And or so yeah, long story short, we had to take like like other people cars, like a taxi driver who like we had to take like multiple taxis to carry our gear.
Oh no.
Um, they like those were really expensive because they knew we were not from there, so it was absolutely really expensive. We arrived like 2 hours later to the place, and the bands
2 hours
were already
late.
mad.
Shit.
We're already mad, and
Oh
we
no.
almost like went to a fight with some other people, and it was absolutely crazy. That's the worst we ever had, and also that nobody came up in that date. So it's it's not the usual story that bands tell you, like, yeah, we sold out everything.
Uh,
It just happened to us in a date in Ecuador, like it was arranged like a week earlier, so that will be the possible outcome. But yeah, that was like a huge story to tell.
oh no.
Um, that was a really that day was horrible. Like that day, we were like, man, does this is worth it? Like, absolutely not. But yeah, it's a fun story to tell. It's crazy because I think I've never told that story before. Only the guys that were in the band like actually knew the story. So yeah, it was crazy. But even though the other date from Ecuador was really nice, just this date went everything wrong, absolutely wrong. So it was fun. It was like a fun experience. But yeah, so yeah, that's interesting story.
Yes. You were telling me
Ah,
that.
that's your cat. That's the cat.
Oh yeah,
That
this is a cat-friendly podcast, and
yeah,
I
I
have
love cats.
to let the door open because otherwise I'm gonna cook myself inside here. It's super hot. It's 90
It's super hot because it's
degrees.
summer, right? Over
Yeah,
there.
it's
I don't know.
93 degrees. It's like 38 Celsius. Yeah, it's
Ooh,
hot.
it's hot. It's hot.
Yes, and I had
I really enjoy like cold areas. Like I live in Bogota, so it's really cold. Like Bogota.
oh yeah, what do
It's,
you prefer?
I absolutely prefer cold. Like
So
way
you're happy
way
in
cold.
Bogota.
Uh, I would prefer it would be colder, but I'm like I can stand like actually heat. Like I'm not really designed for that. Like I go
Sure.
to places where it's like where it's more heated, and I don't respond well. Like I blush. I'm red. Like this the sunlight hits me really hard. Like so I'm really like photosensible, like to ultralight. But yeah, I prefer cold. I don't know you, but I prefer cold always.
It's weird because here it's not that hot during winter, but it's like a great escape when I would get used to in Chicago. It was super cold and I had to shovel snow with my car stocked, and I hated it so much.
And you
And
have to put
here is
chains in the chains on the wheel to drive.
but
You had to put chains in the wheel. to
Mm,
drive?
not that bad, but I almost killed myself driving in the expressway in
Really?
Chicago during winter time. So no, it's a no.
Because it was like too snowy,
It was
very snowy.
always like really heavy, but the bad thing about that is when it gets so cold that the snow turns like into horrible mud. It's mud, and I don't like it. It's dirty. It's I can't with that. I'm so happy right now here. I love being here in LA.
But over there, like it doesn't snow, or it does
Here,
in winter.
no, not at all. Yes.
So it's like in the more like tropical. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
tropical, but
this is near the
in the
beach.
south.
I'm like 30 or
Near the beach.
5 minutes from the beach, and you can find mountains and beach at the same time, which I love it. I'm that kind of person. I like to go out and explore. I also love kind of like Chicago crowd, but not too much, not too much.
Like the people from Chicago,
I
like
was getting
how
sick
they
from
are.
people. I don't know how to call that, engentada, people sickness. I don't know how to call that, but I couldn't stand
Okay,
any more
like
people.
you're annoyed with people, like from the people around.
Yeah, I was missing my home so much. I was so happy when I arrived last night. I miss my cats and I miss my
You always miss your home, like always, like it's there's no place like home, like
yes.
like
I mean, it was fun to go there and to hang out with friends because I hang out with a bunch of friends. Like every day I had someone different on my schedule to hang out with and to talk about the theater or whatever.
But
And
when you're on vacation, like you went to the podcast, like you made a podcast, like it's vacation, like you're supposed to, I don't know, have fun or I don't
and I
know.
was
But
making
you
a
actually made a podcast like every day, yeah?
no, not every day, but I actually went to Chicago because I work Lollapalooza. I've been working Lollapalooza for this last decade, by the way.
You
Yeah.
to the festival?
I work with, it's a music tent. It's like an intimate and indie performance venue. It's like another
Okay,
stage on Lollapalooza, but it's more intimate and more indie. So sometimes
more
they
niche
have
focus.
amazing bands. Sometimes they had metal bands. Sometimes they don't. They have,
Really on Lollapalooza metal bands?
yeah, I'd actually discovered Lorna Shore
Wow.
on 2021, if I wasn't wrong.
Great band. I don't like that much, but it's really great band. Really,
Yeah, I
really.
discovered that. I think it seems it's kind of my jam. Yeah,
But absolutely, like it absolutely rips. Like they're crushing it right
yes,
now. Like absolutely,
yes.
absolutely crushing it right now.
And sometimes they have these bands there. Sometimes they don't, but they have more like classic.
Like I believe like they invite these bands because they're like popping into the main. Like it's not mainstream at all, but they're like into this mainstream metal. You'd say like you'd see like the modern like generations say, hey, I listen to metal. Like they start listening to these bands actually.
Mhm.
Like way before it was like, hey, I'm going to listen to metal. I'm going to listen to Metallica, and but nowadays it's like that. No, yeah, it's how it is. But yeah, it's crazy. Lollapalooza.
The only and the very first time that I saw Metallica live was on
You
Lollapalooza.
saw Metallica live
Was
in
after
Phoenix?
COVID,
Nice.
and I got
Oh,
sick.
really?
I remember
Really?
I lost my voice, and I I was dying. I had to take the day off from my gig for my work, and
Yeah.
I went to my house, and I took like probably a lot of medicine, and I tried to recover, man up, and went back to the festival. So just to see Metallica.
It wasn't. You didn't lose the voice on the concert, like it was before,
Mhm. No.
or it was because of the concert.
Yeah, and I still have the pictures and all that. It was really cool. Yeah, no,
But it was like kind of reason, no? It's like kind of reason. Like for me, after COVID, is like reason. Like I don't know.
it was
Crazy.
weird. You know what? Because it was weed was approved, so everybody in the festival was smoking weed outside of the Millennium Park, where is located the Lollapalooza festival, and everybody
Okay.
was in a different vibe, more
Crazy.
relaxed.
Yeah, I've never been into these kind of festivals. Like, I even don't usually go to metal shows. Like, if I'm not playing, like, but yeah, that's weird. Like I actually don't enjoy that much going to concerts. Like people are always like amazed, like, hey, how, like, why did you want to go to concert? Because it's like, I don't know, it's like you go to a friend's house and he invites you to, I don't know, let's go dinner, and they are all in the table eating, and you're just there standing. Like it's like it kind of feels the same to me. Like I I just want to play. When I see a stage, I just want to play. Like I don't know, like I'm just interested to play. But if it's a like really amazing band that I actually enjoy a lot, like okay. But I usually don't go that much to concert. Like I will definitely go to see Metallica. Like definitely go to
Oh,
check
it was
Metallica.
epic. It was epic.
It's epic. Metallica is huge. Like it's, I would say, like it's the anyone who is in a metal band, like look up, like Metallica is a huge standard. Like
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah.
And I've seen other shows there before. A bunch of bands, more like rock bands, like The Strokes, The Killers, Foo Fighters. Before this guy passed away, his drummer.
I don't remember the
Mhm.
drummer. Yeah, I know who he is, but I don't remember the name. He
Yeah.
actually he actually died in Bogota. It's crazy. He actually died here in a
Oh,
festival. Like, I don't know.
yeah, he died.
That was so random. Like that was so weird.
Hmm.
Like great.
Hawkins, something like that is his last name. I forgot. I'm gonna record about. Uh,
But I know the guy. Like I actually know who he is.
yes, and with other bands, sometimes I just got tired and I don't stay for the festival. But the environment is what I like the most. The environment, the people, the vibe.
Really?
Everybody's
Okay.
is in on
Like hanging
premises
out, chilling
drinking.
out with the people
Yeah, and it's so chill to work that festival. But it's 4 days, and I got sick
4 days.
from people.
Yeah, usually like if you're surrounded with that much of people like 4 days straight, like you're going crazy. Like you
Yeah,
don't even want to talk to anyone.
that,
Like leave me
that
alone.
happened to me. That happened to me. I didn't want to see anymore. It was, I just want to get home. I just want to see my cats. I didn't want to see any more people.
You just get home and you're like, oh man,
Mhm.
finally.
And do my stuff. And I really miss. I'm a loud person. I like to have music everywhere in the house. I'm a loud person, and when you're like in other place, like in an apartment, sharing with roommates or whatever, like in my situation in Chicago, sharing with friends is complicated because you have to turn out the lights and you can stay late working, or you.
Yeah, because there's other people like I don't know. Yeah,
No, I just want to go home. Yeah, that happened to me.
you're the loudest of the pack always. Like,
Yeah,
you'll be
and
like the
I
loudest.
regret a lot of times I'm in a good mood and I say yes to a lot of plans and then I change my mind. I don't want to go to this, but I say
Like
yes.
you're the kind of person that goes happy after they cancel to you. Like, hey, we're not gonna meet up, so you're like, yes.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna stay home with the cat.
Yes, I do love staying home with my cats and creating stuff. I've been writing a lot. I've been doing uh, a lot of introspection. So I love that. I love that. And yeah, it was good to be on vacation, but nope, not all the time, just few days, and that's it.
There's no place like home that it's really comfortable.
And I
Like
really
for me, it's
miss
like
my
the time when
place.
I write music, the same. So yeah, I can tell. I can definitely tell.
Yeah. So tell me, what you guys are aiming for international audiences? Like
So
when
much.
you are projecting the band internationally, right?
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
like a really good question because right now, like our focus after the album, I believe like it made a huge change on the approach of the band.
Okay.
Not a huge change. It was like an evolution for the band. But
Mhm.
the album was a really important event for the band. The release of the album was a really important event because before the album we were just um like a really young band that was starting, and the album helped us. I wouldn't say that we're Metallica, no. It just helped us to gain exposure with the band, help us with that, and like seeing the amount of people that really got connected with the album was really nice. Like people from, I actually today I was looking to portal on China, I don't know, China or some place in Asia.
Oh.
They were talking about the album and they made, it was amazing. It was in China. I don't know what language it was, but they were talking about the band. So it was beautiful to see the places the album has reached, like the album that took, like make us to have this opportunity to reach people worldwide. Is the So it was a huge change for us, like the perception of the band right now. Like with the people that listen to the band is really good. So people are actually expecting the band to start like touring, actually in the sense of
Mhm.
yeah, like more seriously. So we are actually working on that right now.
Yeah.
We're working on, first of all, we are trying to grow locally, like
Mhm.
in Colombia, in our cities, with local festivals and all of that. But we're also working and aiming really hard for next year
Mhm.
to Mexico, and probably who knows, like what will happen. But places like Canada or the US are on the aim as well, because like our most listeners, I think, are in the US, on the US and Canada. And
Right.
we even shared like members with uh, you know, this album was recorded also in Canada
Mhm.
because it was with the drummer. I don't know if you know this band is one of my absolute favorites. It's an absolutely genre defining first fragment. I don't know if you've heard these guys, but it's absolutely like one. This is one of my top three favorite bands, modern metal bands. And we actually I was actually friend with some people of the band, and the drummer Nicholas actually recorded drums on the album. The album you listen, he actually recorded the drums for the album. So it was a really nice experience, like working with one of my favorite band members of metal right now. The band is not actually that active right now because Phil, the founder, he's in other amazing projects.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the production and everything, like we like it was the absolute product we were aiming to. And right now, the band is like really focusing on achieving that level of gaining more attention and everything. And actually, like it's the first time I'm going to say this, but we're this year we have a new release. We are I'm actually working right now on the production of this new release. We're having two new singles this year,
Mhm.
so really happy for that, and I've been really busy working on this. So yeah, like today's industry is like really fast, like really going fast. So
Yeah.
if there's a year you don't release anything, I've seen like the attention like starts to decay. So you have to release music really fast, and nowadays, we like it or not, people are consuming music really fast. Like they love the album, they love your songs and everything, but the next week they are listening to a new album that comes out, and today is like really fast going. That's the thing. Like I used it to like more of the old school era.
Yeah.
That back then, when like people, like when some album was released, like people actually took the time to digest the full thing, and they will like engage to the album like the whole year or something like that. Like yeah, not actually a year, but you get the point. Like people actually like take a deeper look into the lyrics, the artwork, the everything, and then the tours and all the album era, because an album is, I believe, is something that marks an era for a band,
Mhm.
for the sound of any band. The so yeah, this is amazing. This album is what I am mostly proud of. Really, really happy how it turned out. So actually, that's what has been happening recently, and it's kind of recent because the album has came like 7 months ago, like more or less. I don't remember November, but yeah, since then we are starting like already to move forward, and we're just grinding, like going for everything. So
Yes,
yeah,
very cool. You guys been working so hard in this last project, and like it took when you get started to work after COVID or right this album, and then it came last year's, right?
no, actually it's crazy because this album was I started writing this record on 2019,
Huh.
20 August 2018.
Okay.
Like a lot, like like it took ages, like it took half a decade. So it was huge a lot. Like right now, like also it's really important. Like right now, the band is on a stage where I like I feel I have completely discovered like the essence of the sound of the band. That's something that usually takes decades for a band. Sometimes I will know, but sometimes you see bands that are like chasing their own sound for decades. Like for us, like this album, like made the stamp of what's our sound. It's very unique. I believe like it's I would say like it's something like absolutely new. No, yeah, because you see orchestra and multiple death metal or black metal bands, but I would say it's pretty unique
Mhm.
because the way we are trying to arrange like tech death, technical death metal,
Mhm.
and the orchestra is like we have some references like emo warrior, black
Okay, yeah.
metal, modern references like Septic Flesh or Flesh God Apocalypse,
Sep
but Septic, like I don't know if you like Flesh God Apocalypse as well. Amazing, it's amazing. One of my top favorite bands, modern bands. Um, we're like aiming to that like level of monumental metal with orchestra, but we wanted to make it more technical, even more technical,
yeah.
even more like you feel like if you take the legacy of Death, Necrophages, and all these bands, and just the technical level is there, but just add to the formula the monumental, the the hugeness of an orchestra to
Mhm.
make it absolutely like Titanic, like absolutely. So that's like all of these years was how we was like evolving this into this product, which
Mhm.
was the album for us. So the album is not only our first record that took so much to make, but also is like the defining sound of the band. And I would say it also arrived in the other single. I don't know if you have heard I Awaken from
Yeah,
2024, 2020, 2024, sorry, 2024. The single, I don't know if you have heard it yet.
I heard that.
Uh,
Yeah, check it out.
Actually, it's weird because it came out before. It came out on 2024, but actually, I Awaken was made later than the album. Actually, I Awaken is the most recent published work, because the album was finished in 2022, if
Mhm.
you remember. So actually, I made a single because of the album was taking so long,
Mhm.
and we will have to wait for another year because the production and the masters and everything. They were back to me, and uh, I don't know if you know Cryptopsy. Yeah,
No. Oh yeah,
Cryptopsy. Have you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, Christian Donaldson, the guitarist. He actually is like a world class mixer. Like I don't know if you've seen. He's an absolutely outstanding. Like one of the I would say one of the best modern metal producers out there right now. He actually mixed our album. He mixed and mastered our album, and he even recorded drums for our record. And he told us like, hey, I'm done. He was on tours, constantly on tours with Cryptopsy, and the album was delayed one year,
Wow.
so we had to wait another year. So that's why I came up with the idea of making a single,
Yeah.
which is a weekend, and came in 2024. So we're having this release in 2024, and in 2025 we had the album.
All right.
So yeah, there's a lot of things going on there.
Yes. A
So,
bunch.
and always like I believe like there's like a single day, like I'm not exaggerating, like there's not even a single day I'm not working in the band.
Okay.
If it's not actual music, it's 100 things more. Like nowadays, if you have a band, you are like the songwriter, the producer, the arranger, the orchestra. Like nowadays, like the change of the how it works, the production and all of this, um, it makes, if you have a band, it like forces you to have multiple like abilities. Like you have to make it all together. Like you even have to promote yourself. You even have to market yourself. You even have to, I don't know, contact promoters, send mails, like a ton of things that actually take you time to learn and master it. So yeah, I'm constantly working on that and trying to get better. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just want to push it forward as much as I can every day. So I'm basically working my ass off for the event because it's also a dream. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. You have any questions for me?
Yeah, sorry. I usually tend to talk a lot, but I was like, yeah. Um,
I
I
don't
don't know if
care. This is
you
your
have listened
podcast.
to the I don't know if you listened to the whole thing, like the like Primal Impulse, I Awaken, and Colossus. I don't know if you, because you mentioned you've heard like our first record, which is Primal Impulse, and you
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I like I want to ask you like what's like with between the releases, what was your favorite maybe? If you like one in particular, what you like more from this or that?
I
I don't
liked
know.
the last one, the 2025. Yeah, the Colossus
It's
Supreme.
huge leap compared to the others, but yeah.
I really dig it. And the song that I liked the most was Legio Eterna, like that.
Is
And
is the is one of the catchiest ones, I believe. Because if you listen to the chorus, it's like really catchy. Where it says Legion, amazing. And the orchestra, the
yeah.
orchestra already really
Yeah,
good.
I was thinking, I was telling my cousin that I was talking to her, and tell her I think this is more like more the 2019 is more like uh, the garage area, and this 2025 is a little bit more technical and precise. That would be my
Yeah, like modern metal is getting more technical, like way
yeah.
more technical. But we also have this huge thing of the Djent guys, the the yeah, these GNT guys, these metalcore guys, these
Yeah.
is the evolution of the metalcore guys. So now with GNT guys
And you were
like
telling
really
me, sorry, I interrupt you. You were
yeah.
telling me the other day that you guys were kind of like compared with Shadow of Intent, and I tried to listen to them.
Shadow really
And
like you have already know these guys, Shadow Pinton.
I actually wasn't very into it, but when I was checking the music that you sent me, I was like, okay, there's like some similarities. It's like basically what you said. They're very precise now, and they're like this modern metal is very like
The production is amazing.
yeah,
Fun fact is that that we share the same mixer. Like Christian, this guy from Cryptopsy, actually mixed their all this discography,
oh
and
wow,
he also mixed our record. He's the same guy actually. He's
awesome.
the same guy, Christian. Christian, big shout out to Christian because he's an amazing, absolutely amazing. He's actually one of the best in the world. Actually, he's not no big words. He's one of the best modern extreme metal mixers out there. So it's absolutely fantastic his work. and I actually approached him because of that, because his work is absolutely amazing, and I had him reference this band, so it was a huge honor for me to actually work with him and him having to master our album. He was in the mix and the master of the album. So and actually he was like really happy with the outcome. He was like, dude, I actually think I made an amazing job with your record. He was like really proud of that, and that actually made me even more happy. Like amazing. So yeah, that band actually, I'll say Shadow is like Brainblast if we ever make that goal. They are like sharing a lot of like they even have the orchestra thing as well, and the more technical, well, not so much more technical, but yeah, they are like very unique, but they make that in deathcore.
Yeah.
So I actually don't dig that much deathcore, but I would say they are like the only band I may really like from the genre. Amazing.
And what's in your rotation right now? Have you been listening to lately?
It's crazy because I have some areas where I listen mostly to classical music, to Bach. So I go absolutely a lot to the Bach contrapuntus works. They're called like that. They are not songs. They are works. A lot. I usually go a lot to Bach. Always when I don't know what to listen to, I go to Bach because I believe he's the best composer ever did. Like absolutely. Like there's nothing compared to Bach. Like not even close. Nothing close. But besides that, in metal, like what's on my current rotation is I would say mostly it's crazy because I actually enjoy a lot of black metal. I listen a lot to black metal, but not like always the most melodic um black metal there, like indie, like Dismal Euphony, maybe old school Dimmu Borgir,
Old
Automatic
school didn't
Kyle.
work you totally.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There are many bands actually where we get influenced too, because black metal shares a lot of things with orchestration and monumentality and all the things from I find like valuable from the old school era, like we like how I see everything is like we don't want to be like a modern band
Mm.
of modern metal band, but we are also have heavy roots on the like tradition of old school
Yeah.
European metal because I find it is beautiful. Like
Mm.
something weird, like you metal nowadays is like what was classical music back then, like centuries ago. Like for me, it evolved that way. And if you see melodic black metal from Norway, Sweden, and all these Nordic area places, it's like the evolution of classical music, but with the folklore of their homeland. So I find it beautiful,
Yeah.
and I find it as always that's a huge influence, even though we don't make something near to black metal because we love the modern production and everything. But I find it just beautiful, like the black metal and this. I don't know. It's like really rooted into the European classical music. Like some people will differ, but I absolutely like see the roots on that music. So mostly all the ways lead to the same principle, which is melody, classical music, and all that. So that's what's in my current rotation right now. I don't know. Well, you mentioned you like goth. You use it like a lot, goth metal, like metal music. What's on your current right now?
That's funny. My actual rotation is funny because I was checking. So I have Led Zeppelin. I had Dismal Euphony.
This Malifaux,
I have
oh, top notch.
I have here. I have Brain Blast, of course. I had
Of course, you
Deftones.
couldn't you
I
couldn't miss
have
it.
Slipknot. I have Halloween, of course. I have
Nice, nice.
One Chung. I'm obsessed with pop music from the 80s and 70s, and I'm obsessed
It's
with
really good music, like
gospel music
really
as
good
well.
music.
What is
Like
it?
you see the music from the 80s is absolutely well-crafted
It's
music.
beautiful. Other
Like
than
you
metal,
won't
I
tell,
listen to.
but I actually listen to sometimes I use references from that era in terms of songwriting
Yeah.
because it's how it really worked. Like I've seen the musical hits from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. You see the biggest hits. I usually reference from them some stuff in terms of songwriting, which I found like really interesting. So yeah, they're like interesting writers on that industry as well. So, I mean, really really good.
Yeah. Very cool.
But you were telling like this melody you mentioned this melody and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really sad because it's not I believe it's not a well-known band,
It's all right.
but
I
I
like
found it
the
so pure.
underground bands.
It's the true Norwegian uh, vibe band. But even though back then like I've I've read some articles and they weren't like really good received back then in the 90s because they were really melodic. And they were like female fronted also, so that wasn't that common
Yeah.
on black metal.
Mhm.
But they were really melodic, and their approach was really melodic.
Yeah.
So I mean, also Covenant. I don't know if you remember the guys Covenant from Norway as well.
I love Phil
Uh,
Covenant.
it's I mean that album, like actually even the blue album cover from us is kind of also influenced a bit by these blue
Oh,
album covers from you would see on Children of Bottom, Emperor, and Dissection. These blue purple artworks were beautiful. So
the supremacy, the
that's
blue supremacy.
yeah, that's an
I
that's
believe in
like
the
an
blue
influence.
outward supremacy.
The
They're
blue
really
album
good.
supremacy, beautiful, beautiful. So also even that those like artworks even influence. I would say even influence the Colossus album cover. So really nice, beautiful. I'm always like obsessed with the European music overall. Like I'm not talking about only metal music, but the roots of European music is classical music. So I find it beautiful, and as you can tell, you can see the influence in the orchestral music, like they mastered it. Um, like they crafted it, I would say. But you can see the influence on Brainblast. All of these roots I mentioned and all of these getting up together has really a huge impact for the band and the songwriting of the band. So I feel like it's really nearby to me. So I'm always obsessed with that. Like
Yeah. And
beautiful.
which artist would you like to work with in the future, like perform with in the future, or to open for an artist?
Of I would like definitely there are a couple of bands, but I would like always look up to the nuclear blast type of bands. I would say let's say like it's another stage. Like we're not on this at that stage right now, but dreams like this is just like the vision we have. Like like bands like I don't know uh Powerwolf. I don't know if you've heard those guys. Powerwolf, Epica, Dimmu Borgir, um, this type of huge. I don't know. I call it like nuclear blast core because it's like is this type of bands of nuclear blast, which I really admire and really like. I admire how they polish their product for decades and how big they are right now. So that's how I really vision the band as in the future to be kind of like in this type of bands. But if you ask me which band, like I would definitely tell you like this type of bands, just amazing. Um, but always like Flash God Apocalypse, like like my list, like I can die like really happy if we ever share the stage. with bands like, I don't know, Flash Get Apocalypse, Obscura, um, like this type of bands. Well, Death is impossible. Yeah. But this type of bands is absolutely amazing. And regarding, I don't know, there are also many other artists you don't see on the stage, but are backstage working on like on the bands that are like, I would say, like the mixers, the engineers that work within that. Like also there's a huge like there's this magic they make to make these bands huge. So there are also, I have to mention
Mhm.
producers, amazing producers. Someday I would like to really work with them. Is James Bogdan. I don't know if you know this guy. He actually have made like half of Nuclear Blast Records. He have worked with every big, huge, successful one you know right now. He have worked with it. Um, he have worked with Amon Amarth. He was most well known with because of his work with Opeth. He he actually was a long time producer from Opeth, but he has worked with every band in Nuclear, like almost every band in Nuclear Blast. So it's amazing. James Bogdan, also Dave Otero. This guy is a modern producer, metal mixer. Is amazing. He works right now with bands. He have worked with bands such as Cattle Decapitation, um, like many modern metal bands. He actually worked once with, or I don't know if he's working right now with Shadow of Intent as well. We discussed it earlier. Uh, I'm missing so many bands. I just forgot it. But he has worked with a lot of them, and also your question was bands, but also producers. I think they make a huge impact of on the final product for any band. So yeah, this is also like a musical nerd topic because people actually don't care that much about the product. Like it does matter for the listener, the production, but they don't usually take care of all the producers or their needs or anything. But they're a huge part of the song. So yeah.
Yes, a lot of work on that. People doesn't know. People have no idea. It's a lot of
But people actually tell like people don't listen to bad records like bad production nowadays. Like people they listen to a bad production and they didn't don't even like see if the content is good. Like they just skip because it's how we work nowadays. Like how we are wired nowadays. If you ever like go to YouTube and you listen to like, I'm gonna listen to this band, and you just hear like brown noise, you just like change whatever. Like I'm going for a Hicha's best well produced band.
yeah.
So that's how it works nowadays. And you know, like musicians, we as people um have to consider all of these like to make our products like even better. Like nowadays the production is at a stage where it should be like perfect
Mhm.
or it shouldn't be delivered. Some people like it the way, some people doesn't. But if you see the mainstream, like the huge successful bands go after a like well crafted production. I know I'm not talking about like modern ultra tight performances, but like really well produced record. Even like Metallica, you listen to Metallica and it's perfect, well produced. Like I would say like the Black Album, you know, the Black Album from Metallica is, I would say, is one of the best well produced records ever in history for for modern metal production. So
Yeah.
absolutely outstanding. Like around like no band was sounding like Metallica at 91. Like
What is your
yeah.
favorite album from them?
All from Metallica, I have mixed feelings with their discography because they are an absolutely amazing band. I found their first records more interesting, but they're an incredible band in everything you look at. for them. Like they're a huge band. But I would say I would stick to the first records, to the first four records. But I would say mostly with aggression of and justice for all, like the rawness and aggression. And I would say the Master of Puppets is a really amazing album. And I'd say the Black Album, multi. But after it, I wasn't a huge fan, but the first records are absolutely amazing. And the right lighting, perfect. I believe it's 85. I don't remember. Around 85, more or less. What's yours from them?
I would like the Kill 'Em All and the Ride the Lightning. I like both. A Master of
Kill 'Em All is kind of raw. It's a
Injustice
bit raw,
for
but it has the essence. And Injustice, my favorite part is the bass from Injustice.
But the way I name my cat after Metallica song
Where you
Orion.
can't listen.
Yeah, of course I have to name my cats after stuff that I like. And it's Orion because of the song. I call them Orion in Spanish, but when they get to the bed, they call him Orion.
The cat? Sorry, it was
Cat. And everyone has like a name for after an artist or after a character that I liked. For example,
Orion is a huge name.
What is it? The Orion?
It's a really nice name.
Yeah, it's my baby.
Orion, I would say like Orion. Yeah, I don't know how it's spelled, but yeah.
Yeah. My babies, I miss. Yeah, I was telling you that I was waiting and you guys are being busy and doing your amazing job. Very cool, guys. I admire you. And I hope that you make it to the outside to internationally. I was talking to a friend the last time. Actually, I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert from my podcast that I had in Chicago. But he said that he traveled.
Yeah.
He traveled to Osaka, to Japan, and he talked to Tokyo. And he grabbed the phone with the translator and he get to tell them that he has a band and he wanted to perform there and what was like what should he do? And yeah, all you have to do is to pay the ticket.
Oh yeah.
All you have to do is to pay the ticket. We have everything that you need here for your instruments. That's what the guy said. And he said that the scene in Osaka, it was people in their phones. So tell me about AI. What do you think music and AI?
It's a crazy topic because it's really hot nowadays, and people say like AI is like getting out of control. I believe like you always can use it as a tool for amplifying what you are, maybe, but not replacing what you should be doing in your career, in anything you do. Like the essence is yours, but you can apply it perfectly. Like I don't know, like I just feel lazy, like writing an email and just writing an email. But it goes like even deeper. Like people use AI nowadays to craft code, coding, and more deeper stuff. But yeah, you are talking about music. Yeah, mostly I've never always like never used AI, never like anything related to the band creativeness, never, because I think it's just a tool to amplify, not to create. So my take on it is like artists can have it always as a tool, but not as replacing your essence. So yeah, I never like I've seen artworks made with it. Sometimes you can tell like if people make lyrics with it, like you would see like some generic phrases. Um, like doesn't happen to you when you see something on the media. Sometimes you see on the media and you say like, hey, this is made with AI. Like,
oh yeah, as a designer, I can tell. This template
like even
is AI.
in text, like you always see some things that you always like can tell that's AI. I think that kills the artistry. Well, whatever you're doing, like if you like, I've seen bands that it's like a common practice. Like bands even make their posts with say with AI. You and like you always can tell it. Like if you can tell it's wrong. It's wrong because it's generic. So like yeah, we all use it. Like I believe like no one nowadays doesn't use it. Like everyone everyone uses nowadays. But the bad part is when you actually can tell it's AI
Yeah.
because it's you are like noticing the essence of the AI, not your essence. So that's my take on AI. It's not something bad necessarily,
Yeah.
but it's something that you can always use as a tool. Like I'd say like even though you can edit faster or make hard work more lighter
Mm.
sometimes, but you have to check as always. Mostly I don't like AI on artworks. I think if you see metal records with made with AI, like I believe like they look like I don't know like cheap, but not cheap in a sense of money, but cheap on a sense of I wanted to like an artist to craft it because it's a work,
Yeah.
not something I can make like with a prompt in, I don't know, like 10 minutes. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my take, and I don't feel it's taking over some jobs. People are always afraid like, oh, they were
Just
taking
treat
over
it
jobs.
nicely because I wanted to get killed by the rise of the machines in the future.
I,
So,
I always treat them nicely. I always say, hey, could you please? And I
and
always say
can you
that.
please help me redact this email?
Yeah,
No
it's
M dashes.
how I normally talk. So yeah, I just realized I treat it nice always. So yeah. So,
Yeah.
but 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 yeah, people are using for many things. Like I hate to see these TikTok videos, like type of videos, or
Right.
that people are always like making.
I use it
Like,
mostly. I think it's a great therapist. For example, ChatGPT is a great therapist.
really,
For example, you have, I'm not a mother,
it
I'm
cheers
not
you up.
I'm a
It cheers you
mom,
up.
but
It's
I
really nice.
tell my sister-in-law, I told her, why don't you use AI when you have like something to try therapy with your children, with your toddler, because we sometimes don't know how to react or what to do, and she's been using it, and like she has great feedback, like great therapy for her children. That I think that's
Oh, okay,
useful.
it works.
Yeah, it's useful, and
It's useful in persons. It's useful.
yeah, and what
It's
other
really
stuff?
useful.
When my cat gets sick, medical terms aren't
But people,
but I use it when my cat gets sick, and yeah, that's it. Mhm.
like what's happening with my cat?
Yeah,
It's good for something like maybe some professionals won't recommend you to mental health for mental health. Like you know, like they were saying like these type of things that like don't use it as your psychologist or anything because it won't go that deeper. But they usually like treats you back nicely because they are programmed that way. So it's really they really treat you really nice always. So it's it's nice. Or they even like help you to think something like, hey, I have to I don't know, I have to work on this. What ideas can you give me or something like that? Like usually could help a lot and really fast.
oh, really good for
So
legal stuff as well.
and people will believe yeah, for documents. Like I don't wanna read this huge ass 12-page uh Arial one text. So they are really good like finding at the spot where is that thing. I have used it a lot in contracts and it's really good, really good. But it doesn't replace your lawyer or anything.
Yes,
Don't
it's
try
my
anything.
lawyer, my lawyer, my doctor, and my veterinary. Yes, I
I
use
on
I
the news
use it.
they say like don't use it as doctor always because they are like, it doesn't replace like a doctor analysis or anything, but most people like use it nowadays like like the Google of nowadays is like ChatGPT
Yeah.
or anything. People use it like really common.
Uh-huh.
Just don't use it to write lyrics or make your album cover because I don't know.
Oh
Not
yeah.
that.
Do you remember that my computer died? My MacBook died. It came back.
Yeah, this is not the MacBook. This is the actual
Yeah, it's
camera
working.
of the
I'm
MacBook,
actually
or this
working
is a
with them
laptop,
right
or this
now.
is the phone.
Yeah, I thought it was
Uh,
done, but it came back.
it came back to life because of the interview, so we had to make it. So really
Of
nice
course,
MacBook
it
for
was
you.
the destiny. We had to make it.
But maybe it could go broke like in a week or two, like, or who knows, like tomorrow or anything.
I don't know.
But yeah, just check it out. Like, try maybe some cleaning issues, like have someone to open it and in the internal parts or anything. Sometimes it's that, I don't know, but seems working fine. So yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm so happy. My
And
phone,
regarding that, the gear is really important, like for working and everything. It's really important.
everything, everything, and I have to wipe the factory reset, wipe the memory, and I lost. Everything happened in Chicago. I went.
Everything you lost the data.
No, because I had the iCloud, but I
Okay.
lost a script. I wrote a script for a short film, and I was
Oh
talking
man.
to the director because he called me. He actually wanted to do some AI stuff, and he kind of proposed like to do AI. Tell me 26 words and I make it work with AI. I'm like, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. I go to Chicago and
Okay. He
use your.
wanted to make it with the. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, not gonna, you're not gonna do it. But regardless, if you do something like that, just let me know, and I'll be fine. Just as long as we are okay as like a friendship and a professional relationship, because I earned a trophy thanks to him as an actress. I was working with him
Really?
during the COVID, and it was
Yeah, you haven't told me much. I have speak a lot, and you haven't told me much about the that you're making the what you're telling about.
Yes, it
Keep
was
going, keep
about
going.
something that I have in my 30s. I'm not in my 30s anymore, but I don't know if I want to act the main role or if I want to hire younger actress. I have no idea what I'm going to do
But
whatsoever.
why not? Like it depends of the story and the context if it
Yeah.
fits. But why not? Like always taking the chance is like really good. Like you don't know which act or which, I don't know, which movie or which anything could take you further. So I would say always like if you like if you have the opportunity of making yourself, if you want to, like maybe go after it because it could
Mm.
possibly like potentially bring you opportunities. So
Yeah.
really nice.
And so I found it like thanks to ChatGPT. Oh, because I told her, I was like, hey, I have this short film. I told you someday to help me to redact and accommodate and the grammar and all that. So I
They help you
wrote
with
it,
grammar and yeah,
and then I took
really
it,
good.
I put it there. Ay, bájese de ahí, hombre. Sí. A ver, check this guy. Okay.
That's really nice.
And
Yes, really nice.
yeah, but I was telling you anyways. I lost the
He has
document.
he looks so black metal. I don't know
It's still black
if you
metal.
can. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, so I
He's
found the
way more black metal
documentation
than the
for
other cat.
that. And yeah, I'm happy because I work in it for a bit and I had my memory, I had in the back of my head everything in the short film. And I found it and I sent it. I already sent it to festivals, to contests, to a bunch of stuff. And I sent it to my
Just
friend who is
yeah,
the director, and I'm waiting for feedback. So I'm really excited about that.
but that's really important. Like usually put a lot of work. You have to take it to the people that potentially could like explode, like like make something out of it. So
Yeah,
I'm like congrats for that. Go after it.
thank
And
you.
if you like, mm, I would definitely act if I were you, I would like work go after that because it's as I said, it's a potential opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, my
So
probably.
yeah,
I'm kind of have my in my mind who is gonna be the DP, who is going to be the art creator, the art director, and
it's a lot of stuff going there, right? Like
I have everything
editing, like
in my head.
arty,
I have some actors in my head. I was casting director, so I have a bunch of talent on my email that I can call.
like you
I have
cast
everything.
directors,
Yeah, I
like
used to be casting director because I made up a show this year.
oh
It was my very first show here in LA. And we did a play, a Pulitzer winner and a Tony Award winner. And it was called Proof.
oh
His proof is about a mathematician who passed away, and he wrote a bunch of in a bunch of books, a bunch of proofs, but it was gibberish. It wasn't anything. So it was. He has two girls. The younger has a love interest with a musician. So he plays in a band, and he has his drummers, his drumsticks,
the,
and
the son of the son of this mathematician. He had two girls,
the
and the
mathematician,
story is
everyone
about the
in the
girls.
family is mathematician, and the guy is a
Ah,
student.
okay.
So they fall in love, and it was a very fantastic story. And we kind of like do the reading, but we do the blocking at the same time. I produce it, and my husband was the director.
You produced?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it was crazy. It was more like an emotional investment rather than having earnings back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is like it is,
It
but
usually is like that. Usually, usually when things you really love, it's usually like that. But it doesn't have to be always like that.
yeah. So the
But really
was
nice,
like,
like
yes,
producing.
we made
I
it.
believe, but I like I don't know anything about that. May I'm mostly an ignorant. But producing something like that should be like like just producing music is or like a real thing, like huge main thing. Producing something like I don't know how to call like a clip, a movie,
Play,
what
theater
I don't
play.
know.
Yeah.
Ah, theater play.
It's
Ah,
a
it's
theater
not like
play.
in the screen. It's like
Yeah, but we also
it's a
wanted to
play.
do short films and a series. I have my comic relief writing time because I was tired
Okay,
of
okay.
drama.
Like you're really funny, huh? Don't you?
And I wrote something called The Lab. Is like a bunch of actors doing comedy sketches, and every episode
Mhm.
has something different. And it's not connected, it's not the same universe or something like that. I haven't thought about that. I just wrote and I thought, okay, every episode is gonna be different. Like for example, Black Mirror, every episode is different. It's in
Okay.
like it has a timeline or
But
anything.
it's from Black Mirror. But it's from Black Mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, you seen that show,
Okay.
Black Mirror?
I've heard things, but I don't haven't seen it. I've heard something like my sister once
It's
told me
really
something
good.
about it, but I haven't.
It's a little bit absurd, but it makes you think what will be life when technology comes and takes everything, even your thoughts, even
I knew that.
yourself.
That was the only thing I knew from the show. Yeah, from
Mm,
that series.
yeah,
I don't know.
it was very well done. I recommend it if you want to take a look someday. Would you want to binge stories? You can binge that one. It's really good. Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
that's
It's
it.
crazy. I don't consume that much of outside world entertainment because I mostly like working in the band. Like I I work 7 days a week in the band. Every time like I don't have free time. So yeah. So but that would be interesting. Like I don't usually take a look to entertainment of Netflix or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Mirror sounds like
What
recommendation.
do you do
And
when you're in
sorry,
your free time? What do you do? Tell me like a normal day of your
actually
life.
it's crazy because I never say I have free time. Like if you're an entrepreneur, the entrepreneur, yeah,
Hmm.
not the big entrepreneur, but if you're entrepreneur, you would say like you don't have free time. Actually, it's not something that you don't enjoy. It's because
Hmm.
you actually enjoy it that much that you always want to do that. So actually, that happens to me. But I would say like in my free time, I don't know. I am always learning something, especially like most recently in the recent years, most focusing on production,
Okay.
on like production and production techniques and recording stuff. Just watching a lot of let's say tutorials or like courses of how to produce this way or how to achieve these results in production because it's a huge topic. Uh, I'm producer, but I'm not. I didn't know when to college for that. I went to college for music, which I'm formed in. But all this I've learned from myself, like the thing with the production and everything. I've learned it all myself. So it's always a huge topic you're always learning. So actually my free time is actually spent on just studying this. Like you study this nowadays in YouTube, like or watching, I don't know, this thing called Nail the Mix,
Mhm.
which they gather the most well-known metal producers and this more metal centered.
Mhm.
But yeah, that also okay. If we're talking about, I like to play like always. I like to play piano, so I really like just enjoy like playing the piano here. And the black metal has so much of classical piano
Yeah.
into the song. So like mostly what I play or practice alone is black metal piano practice. So
Okay.
it's beautiful. It's amazing. And what else? Like mostly, well, mostly the band,
Mhm.
learning something, playing piano. Uh, it's crazy. I'm like, I don't have that much to tell about it because it's mostly everything I do. Like I'm writing music, like composing. If not, I'm not working. I'm always like, uh, if I have a spare time or something like that, I write a lot of music, like for the band or any other thing. But always, this happens when I'm not working, like when I'm just chilling out and I have this idea. I, I could spend like I just have one riff, and the next thing I know, it's
Huh.
4 hours pass by, and I'm writing on the computer everything, just everything. So yeah, that's how time passes for me, in the spare time, let's say. And yeah, I don't know you what like watch movies, like create more
Uh,
stuff or
I got like a movie stuck in my head and I wanted to rewatch it. It's a classic. It's The Perro Andaluz. Um,
sounds very Spanish.
Luis Buñuel. I think it doesn't have dialogues. I think it's more like an old film.
Charles
Maybe.
Chaplin, like Charles Chaplin,
Yeah,
without dialogue.
something like that. It's very crazy for the time. They were ahead of their time. They were, what the heck
Around
is doing
which
this
time?
stuff at this time? It was kind of
Oh,
like mind blown. It's still mind blown to see that at this time. So
that many people ahead of time. Like around what time, what year, what's
I was 60s, probably 40s. I'm not really sure about that because it didn't have like a lot of.
oh, okay, it's old, old,
He's super old. Yeah, yeah. The Perro Andaluz.
old.
I'm gonna check it out because he was crazy. He was this that
It's
it
a
was
classic. It's
lit.
something like maybe I don't know it, but maybe I don't know it, but I don't know. It's a classic. It's like well known or something like that.
It's a one now classic. You might probably have some images that came to your head like someday. I'm gonna go ahead and send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you the
Oh, sure, sure.
video. Yeah, that's what else? Oh, I've been watching a lot of movies. I watched The Odyssey. It was crazy.
Regarding movies, what's your favorite movie? Like you would say like these are my favorite movies. Like this,
I will
which one?
say I like Birdman. Birdman is a one take movie. That means that if you messed up in something and in the film is
There
running.
are no scenes, like change of scenes.
Exactly.
Like,
It's plano secuencia is in Spanish. I don't know how in English. I think it's one take. And if you messed
okay.
up as an actor, you have to start from the beginning and you're gonna waste a lot of material. So you have to be super careful working
Oh,
that kind of,
and super organic, like super natural,
yeah,
like
Birdman.
if you mess up in something, like you have to like readapt, like, oh, okay, this is part of the, like that's how like most iconic scenes, like I don't know if you know was on from Batman. There was
Oh,
this scene where the hospital exploded, and that wasn't staged at the time, and
oh yeah,
they
that
play
was
along, and it went
one
really
of my
well.
favorite
This
scenes.
huge actor, that guy, I don't know, he already died, I believe, but that guy, I don't remember his name. Huge actor, huge actor, amazing. He
Yeah.
performed the
Mm.
I don't know how it's in English,
How
the
about
clown.
Colombian movies?
I don't know anything, absolutely anything about
I
Colombian
heard
movies.
some movie, El Abrazo de la Serpiente, who won something, an international trophy, but I don't remember which one. And it's the only one that pops up in my head right now from Colombia. We will check it out because it was awarded.
Okay, we're a third world country, but I don't know. I don't enjoy that much Hollywood. Like, it's something like not so nice for me. But their productions are top notch. You'd say
Yeah.
like
Basically,
like
what I got to see in the movies is the performance of the actors because they had to make me believe there is a monster, there is a CGI thing, a green screen that is
the
there.
CGI and the
You
effects and
have
everything
this
is absolutely
imagination to
top notch.
make it believe is real. So that's what I saw in that kind of movies. I mean, the super production is top notch. Obviously, they invest a lot of money in that
Absolutely,
super productions, which I admire. But the
that's
characterization,
the pro. They're really absolutely top notch, and like they're the industry standard of there's no other thing like their production like in the world like this, like these famous directors and anything. I'm I am very ignorant on these
I
type of
can give you a
topics,
couple of recommendations.
but
No worries.
yeah,
I can hook
like
you up,
you
bro.
are
No
absolutely
worries.
yeah. But actually, like I was just saying that I don't like Hollywood, but I absolutely enjoy some classics. Absolutely, like they're majestic. Like my favorite movie from like mostly away from the movie, like the story from Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
something that's absolutely perfect. Like, it's, I believe it's the best trilogy ever written because it's perfect. Like everything, and the movie is like back then, and it's one of the classics of one of the those the Lord of the Rings movies are one of my absolutely favorite. When someone asks what's your favorite, Lord of the Rings is my top notch. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It has everything, like, absolutely. And the storytelling, the Tolkien was absolutely incredible mind, incredible person as everything. Like I've read a lot of things about him, and
All
it's
right.
just inspiring. Everything about Tolkien, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like
And
I could spend
also,
hours talking about Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
yeah, I haven't finished, honestly, to be honest, I haven't finished to see all the whole movies or to read the books whatsoever. It's gonna
The
take
three
a long
ones
time.
of it's are so class. They are a bit long. If you like nowadays, like movies aren't that long, but they're long ones. And the Return of the King is no words. Is top notch. Is
Yes.
perfect. Like everything that's good in the cinema is Lord of the Rings. But also it's the emotional connection I have with the Tolkien stories because
Mhm.
of the story. But I'm not talking about the technical stuff of lighting of color palettes or anything that you guys are absolutely um, more technical about. I'm just like really hooked into the story because it's amazing, it's beautiful. And these type of stories like are really like metal, like I don't know, it's like really, it's beautiful, it's dramatic, it's intense, and it's also very rooted in European folklore. So
Yeah.
I just find this whole combination of things is really beautiful. And if you see many black metal bands, for example, as Summoning, they're heavily inspired on the Tolkien universe, on their stories, and it's beautiful. That's why I don't know, it feel like fits so well with that. And there are always, I would say, the other movies that are timeless classics. I don't know. I grew up on the era of Pirates of Caribbean. The music just hit it to me, like the how monumental it was. Movies as such as, I don't know, The Gladiator. Did you see like the classic one, the first one? Gladiator, Pirates of Caribbean. Like the music is amazing with the orchestra. Actually, the pirate or the Pirates of Caribbean movies made a huge impact on me because of the music, like so well crafted. And even though, like I would say, is like really inspired me in the album, like if you will listen to the Pirates of Caribbean, like what Hans Zimmer wrote as well on Batman Returns and everything. The music is outstanding, the orchestra is outstanding, the production is outstanding. So I'm huge fan of those movies. Yeah, I'm huge fan of huge fan.
Okay,
It's
yes,
beautiful.
those are great movies. And
But I know it's something that someone ignorant would say because it's the main absolutely mainstream.
I don't
Like
think so.
if you ask someone, do you like metal? Yes, I like Metallica and something like yes. So what
I
someone
don't care. I still
very
like
mainstream.
Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica is why
Yeah,
they are huge.
yes, I started with Metallica, so yeah, I can't deny it. Uh,
But there is some point on modern movies that's too much, like on the Avengers series. Like I thought it would be like just one or two movies. Like they have expanded that into, I don't know, 40 movies. Like so many movies about like all Captain America, Thor, and just it's just annoying. Like so much. They're just they're exploiting it to the top. So it's crazy. It's crazy nowadays. But those movies I told you about, I found they are like really classics. Like so really nice, especially Lord of the Rings is
yeah.
top notch.
Okay, I promise I'll take the time sometimes to sit down and bitch.
I believe like
Binge.
if you watch cinema, like the only movies you like the three part of the trilogy of Lord of the Rings they are a bit, I would say, like if you analyze it in a modern cinematic way, the storytelling is a bit slow. The events like it's not that fast. They give you the whole story and you connect between the three ones. But that's something really nice that the old, like the more old type of movies have because they are in just for selling you something. Like branded this summer, they release or something, but they're just the movies that were brought into to the image of Tolkien. So if you have the time,
Yeah,
absolutely, I
I
would
do
say
have the
check
time. Yes, I
to
have
check
plenty of
those,
time.
especially the Return of the King, top
Okay,
notch, beautiful,
yes.
beautiful.
Okay, thank you for the recommendations. I think I'm gonna give you some couple of indie recommendations as well.
Please,
And
please.
interchange movies and some with
I
music.
actually, I don't know, I like enjoy a lot like the drama and the action because that's what I like. I don't know, like for example, I hate drama in real life, but I absolutely love drama in music. Like I
Hey, in
absolutely
real life. Tell me more about that, please. Can you elaborate?
no, it's like I don't know. I don't like annoying like dramatic people. Like I know life's hard, but but the drama is optional. I would say like people has lost their limbs and anything, and they're like, okay, let's go. I don't know. I don't say you don't have to feel your emotions and anything, but I feel like the suffering is optional. Sometimes I know it's a hot take. I know it's crazy, but sometimes the yeah the drama it's useless. Like it's just I know it's not, it's easy to say it and hard to apply it, but sometimes it's like that, like we can change
Because it's
something.
hard. Because
Yes,
managing your emotions is harder than just being explosive.
absolutely that. Absolutely that. And it's not pretending, it's not acting. It's not like acting, because
Mhm.
when you're acting, you're acting. It's actually changing something deeper
Yeah.
within yourself. Yeah, but whenever you experience something, uh, it's crazy, but yeah, if you actually like think deeper, suffering is optional. It's super difficult to think about that, but if you really like, if you ever think something like whatever, when in your worst case scenario, suffering is optional. Like really, if you actually like, it's crazy, crazy, but yeah. So also controlling the emotions is really important, and also, for example, like bringing all of this together, like connecting with anything we have talked. When you are in a band, you have to deal with many things, and you even have to deal with criticism
Yeah.
and with haters. And whenever you start, well, any band that starts trying to make something and work really hard and push it like forward, you will you will find yourself in situations that people don't want you, or maybe they want to see you fall. And it's really important that, because how you manage all of this is how you pass by those situations. And I was like, we have found like we have haters as well, and there are people that don't like us, and whenever that happens, they are like, okay, well, it's fine that you don't like it, like I can I I will keep doing this, but okay, I'm okay with that. Okay,
Yeah, man,
so
that's
yeah, that
just your opinion. I'll keep doing my stuff.
yeah, it's like, I don't know, like people can differ on anything, but I'm just happy making this. Like after all, like everything, if you see whatever happens, anything, if you are happy with what you are doing, if you
Mhm.
are happy of what you are building, even though it's hard working and I think it takes a lot of work, and if
Yeah.
you're happy with that, I think that's what matters the most. Like at the end of the day, you're happy of what you are doing, and you don't have to do anything with other people. Like it's just you and the art you are making.
Yeah,
So,
usually haters are people who doesn't like have the courage to do what you are doing.
and this is a really hot take, but also whenever someone is throwing hate at you, always it's like a law of gravity. It's a law. They are always being it, always. Like you don't see like Tom Cruise saying, "Hey, Andrea is a bad actress." You will never see that. Like you'll never see, I don't know, Brad Pitt saying, "Ah, Andrea is." You will always find it from someone that's within your or beneath you. Like you'll never find someone that's like better than you throwing throwing
Got
at
it.
you. Like yeah,
Totally.
and also it's like if you, because it happens to us, if you don't like something, like you just just pass by and ignore it. I sometimes don't like bands because I just don't like it, because I don't know the style or anything. I just don't talk about the band, and I won't talk bad about some band because I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's the way it's being mature. I think also, I don't know. It applies to everything, to work, to whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Tell me a little bit about your English. You went to a bilingual college, high school in Colombia, isn't it?
yeah. But I think I mostly like uh, like it got better when I started talking with like people from the media, from the like just having conversation with people from bands and anything. Like I don't know, I actually can't tell when I made the switch to actually knowing, because I think I express myself poorly in English. Well, like just decently. But I understand everything, like whatever whatever you say in English or whatever. I can have a conversation not so deep in my language as I would be in Spanish. but I think I defend myself with the language because yeah, since I was a kid, I was in a school with they teach English, so that helped, of course. But I went like I think I really like took it deeper when I practiced it with people, like talking with you, with like I don't know, with some band member or some producer, and
Mhm.
it just happened throughout the years, and also because if you watching like you're trying to learn from YouTube and if you're trying to everything regarding production wise or anything, or everything is in English. So it's a language that nowadays is mandatory for the industry. So you have to learn it. And I didn't find like it's that hard,
Okay.
but I don't know, there are languages you will always like to, I don't know, what language would you like to always talk like? I have always liked it German, but I find it's really difficult.
I'm learning French. Man,
French,
hard.
très
I've
bien,
been
très bien.
able to interchange a couple of words, but the thing that I learned was Je ne parle pas français. Je
Je
ne
ne
parle
parle
pas
pas.
français.
Je ne sais pas, je ne sais
Je
pas.
suis désolé. And
Je
that's
ne sais
it.
pas.
So they
Sorry.
don't ask more questions.
You know what's crazy is that when you maybe hear someone talking French, like sometimes you understand. Like I understand it if it's very slow, but
Okay.
if you try to talk it, it's like I can't. Like that happens also in Italian. It's like I find it's really close to the Spanish, like Italian language is really close.
Yeah.
Even more than French, I would say. It shares so much. It shares some families of words. French, I think, is difficult. Well, difficult German. I've tried to learn some things, but I think it's difficult because the structure of the sentences is wired differently. Like
Mhm.
some is this phrase, and at the end of the phrase you say something, it changes completely the meaning of the whole phrase.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but they are very logical in the sense of how they um sometimes it's very logical, like very like well structured. But
Yeah.
I believe like my own native language, Spanish,
Mhm.
uh, is is absolutely majestic because uh, it's really deep and it has a level of deepness that even I think the English doesn't have,
Sure.
like the deepness and richness of the language on
Mhm.
this because the Spanish is a Latin derived language. So
Yeah.
it's crazy when sometimes people or anyone says we are Latinos, but we are not Latinos, we are Hispanics
Yeah.
because the ones that are Latinos are the ones who live in the Latios
Yeah. Speaking
and
about
Italy,
that.
and they derive it from Rome. But yeah, okay, it's crazy. It's a huge topic. But for example, Spanish, our language, Spanish language, has
Uh-huh.
the deep roots on deep roots on Rome because Spain back then
Yeah.
was connected to Rome
Yeah.
to a I mean like the evolution of the language
Mhm.
derived from Rome because it was a province from Rome.
Yeah.
It was not I mean like it was really connected and it evolved from Latin.
Mhm.
So
You
that's
have some lyrics with Latin, do you?
yes, yes, because
No,
I
I
love
was
I
about to
love
ask you
Latin.
that.
That's a huge that's a really nice point.
Yeah.
And because I love Latin because now it's crazy because you see nowadays English is what Latin was 2000 years ago.
Yeah.
Nowadays English is like you can talk English and you can go everywhere and mostly in every part of the world they will talk English.
Yeah.
Back then, like 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, Latin was that universal language
Mhm.
and was the language of the Aristotelics of the of
That
the
is
people of knowledge
that
of
is
the
to
people of knowledge.
cats.
Yeah, yeah, the people of knowledge back then, like the ones who were the like the minds of the era.
Yeah.
They talk in Latin. That's why it's really deep connected, and it's really huge interesting topic because it was deeply connected to the early evolution of music of Western civilization.
Mm.
And if you see the church and the early church, the Roman church, the Catholic church, and everything, it's how we developed the polyphony and Western classical music and everything. It's a huge topic, but the short story is that the Latin language I found it like beautiful since it's really rooted on that classical tradition and early like it's like really monumental. It's really connected to the early stages of knowledge of the Western culture. So I found it that it connected like really nice and deeply to the lyrics and what we wanted to express. And well, with the monumentality and the orchestral stuff, and it fitted really good. I had to study some things to just not say nonsense because it's really easy to speak nonsense uh, in Latin, just making sound fancy. But I actually like took some dictionaries and tried to some things that wasn't sounding how I was expected them to sound, so I had to correct them. Anything, and there's like quite a big meaning behind the thing you mentioned about the Latin languages. But I found it like really interesting, really interesting.
Mhm. Very good. Yes, what an amazing session I just had with you today. Thank you so much for your amazing time, Ed. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
not
that.
to you also because for the space, also for like I don't know, like it was like it's nice like talking whatever like it comes. I think the format is really nice. It gives you the possibility to open with the guest.
Mhm.
I don't know to talk whatever you want, and it's really nice. I really enjoy it a lot, and it passed by like really fast. It was really
Yes,
cool.
just find out it's in 2 hours or something. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
no, it's just like like talking with friends or anything is
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, that's the idea. I want the artists to express themselves as much as they can. And
And
yeah.
sometimes I speak like 2 hours of no, like I just did like I usually like go to many places when talking and everything.
Okay.
But it's interesting because you try to connect some stories with what you're telling and it's interesting. It's just like having a conversation with a friend and
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
not so formal and right.
And yeah, I remember back in the days I had an interview with someone and it was complicated because the person didn't, I don't know, it was the lack of language, but it was very limited and it was really hard to make him speak. So it was
Like
like short
a
answers.
question, expect the answer and silence.
Yes,
Yeah. Sometimes happens because you don't know what to say. But
yes,
sometimes it could be also the language because some people if it's not your native language, it's
mhm.
more it's harder.
Yeah, and they
But
speak
sometimes it
French.
feels like that.
And I regret not learning
French.
French like the way I wanted
But
to.
it was in French or in English.
No, it was in English. I wish it was in French. Ah, would you imagine me?
I, but you actually speak French, like you actually like speak fluently French, or more or less, or just
No,
you're
the
just
basics.
you're just learning.
Super basic French.
Okay,
Yeah. But it was fun. Yeah. Okay. I think that was it. We made it. Voices with
yeah,
Andreanet
it was
every Friday. This episode might probably come this weekend, if not the next weekend. And
let me know to share it
YouTube,
and yeah.
Spotify, Deezer,
Okay.
Serious Exam. Name one. Name one. I
Oh,
got it.
damn. Like I think we like so like some randomly about many things that I'm like, oof, man. It was so unorganized from my part because I just go to whatever topic I just wanted. So crazy, but nice. It's on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, anything
Yep.
you tell me about.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it was so easy to make it work.
Actually, I'm searching for the podcast and
Yes.
No, it's Voices with Andreanet, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, check it out. And I'll see you next
Voices.
time. Hope we can bump into each other someday. I don't know if I go to Bogota or whatever, or you come here, whatever.
Nice, it's really nice.
That will be
If you ever go to a show of the band, man, I'm always like really happy showing people the band live. If you ever have the opportunity, or if we ever get to the same town or we are playing, you are definitely invited to the show because we're
okay.
working really hard on making a really nice show and showing to the people. It's really happy, like really fills me up. So it's really nice.
Very cool. Very
Voices, voices.
Andreanet. Yeah.
I'm looking at it on ah.
Okay, there you go. Cool.
For
I lost it. Let me stop this thing.